Today, I'm going to be breaking down Soweto, the remix by Victony, featuring Don Toliver, Rema, and of course produced by Tempoe, where as usual, I will be talking you through the various elements that I'm picking up on as we go through it. Before we get into the video, if you have an artist or a track that you would like me to review, break down, react to, whatever it is that you want to call it, pop it into the comments. Also, if you like new music and you want to hear more of it, go ahead, check out Pure Urban Music, link in the description below. 100% of the royalties do go directly back to the artist. So if you do want to get involved, you want to show your support, then go ahead and check that out. Let's get it. Okay, right, so opening thoughts on the track. So firstly, really like those guitars playing that melody at the start. Absolutely banging choice of an instrument to kind of throw into this instrumental. Really helps create that feel and the vibe of the track and complements it really, really well. Right, really like the choice of the percussive sounds here, right? Really, really good selection. So we got the kick drum nice and soft. The snare is not too prominent or overtaking the track. But then we've got those shakers that are really, really coming through. And that's a nice and, you know, quite a common theme actually within Afro Beat music. Absolutely love that flute, right? That comes in every now and again. It's used sparsely. And you know what? It's the right thing to do as well, because, you know, one, using it sparsely and just kind of throwing it in every now and again adds just a nice additional touch to the track or a layer to the instrumental. But because it's so infrequent, when it does come in, it just stands out to you, right? And the final thing, I really, really love what they're doing with the vocals here, how they're kind of harmonizing the back end phrases of the vocals. You know, we're in a part of the track right now where actually those vocals are getting bigger and wider and becoming much more layered and kind of creating this sense of almost like a kind of 360 kind of spacious sound with how they're kind of being panned as well. So listen, production wise, song wise, feel, vibe, intro, opening, all of that sort of stuff, absolutely spot on. Okay, that is a banging piece of ear candy there, right? The way that they cut that beat and then they extend the flute out there, just at the taking that back, man. Listen. Beautiful harmonies there, man.
I want to get lost with you. I want to reach ecstasy. I want to have sex.
What? Okay, again, like that's even like, okay, that piece of ear candy there is even better, right, than the other one that we had when we had the extended flute, right? So we've got Don Toliver here now, right? And just listen to what they do, right, with that piece of ear candy that they also use, by the way, to kind of then transition, because you get a kind of like a drum roll that then follows that, right? But they literally add a filter on it. It strips it all the way back, so you almost get like this kind of radio type sound to the vocals, right? And then it kind of comes from the back, it makes its way all the way to the front as they then begin to build on that again and kind of switch that filter off. And then you get that drum roll. It's absolutely banging. I'm taking that back, man. Right, it's coming up, listen.
I want to reach ecstasy. I want to have sex. I want to have sex. What's my stuff? I need you and nobody. Ask God if you got my help. So we can know you can meet me out here. She wanna fall like yeah. I need you and nobody else. Ask God if you got my help. So we can know you can meet me out here.
Ad-libs there. Layered vocals now there. Flute. Nice beat cut. Flute again. Harmonies. Brilliant way, man. Right, absolutely brilliant way to see us out towards the end of the track here, right? I mean, obviously, you know, you've had Rema's verse in there, and what you notice is that you still get familiarities, right, in terms of the way that they're kind of switching up the effects that they're putting on the vocals. So sometimes they'll be quite, well, let's say normal, right? I mean, they'll still have some effects on them, but they've got these kind of this normal type of vocal sound. And then all of a sudden we'll get some reverb that hits and you get that kind of spatial sort of sound. And then you'll get harmonies and then they'll strip it back. Something that I noticed actually in Rema's part is, you know, we seem to, right, get a couple more cuts in the track. And we also seem to get a couple more drum rolls that went in there as well. And, you know, that's a good thing because, you know, look, we've got 3 artists, right? Each of them kind of delivering a verse. You know, it can, if not produced right and kind of executed correctly, you know, things like that can get boring. So to have these shifts and changes in there just kind of keeps it nice and fresh to the ear. And I really like now how they're actually seeing us out in the track. I mean, yeah, we're definitely being seen out. We're at 3 minutes 9. And it just comes back to my point about the flute, right? So we're now almost, they're kind of giving the flute its moment to shine within the instrumental. And so they should as well, because even though that flute is used sparsely, it plays a massive part in this track, right? And the overall feel and the vibe and the likability factor to it, even though it's not so much of a core instrument. So, you know, kind of, well, in comparison to, say, the guitars, right, that we hear throughout, or obviously the bass line and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, really like how they're seeing us out here, giving that flute time to shine, because it is an absolutely fundamental instrument, like I say, to the likability of this track. Listen to it, man. Listen to that bass. Okay, so some final thoughts on the track. So let's talk about it from the remix side first. Or actually, do you know what? We'll just blend it all together. Right, so my thoughts on the remix. Yeah, I thought it hit the mark. You know, listen, I've said it before and I will continue to say it. regardless as to whether it's an Afro Beat track, a hip hop track, R&B track, whatever it be, like, you absolutely have to be careful with a remix, right? Especially if the original was such an iconic or an absolute banger of a tune. Because you know what? I've seen it done many times. You would have seen it done many times where they go ahead, they do a remix, they bring an artist on or a couple of artists, and it absolutely stinks, right? And you know, it does, no matter, you know, how you want to try and play it down and be loyal to the artist and all this sort of stuff. When you get a remix that stinks, right, it does tarnish, even though it may only be a little bit, but it does tarnish the original. So I think they've done a really good job here. I think the remix hit the mark. I really liked what they did with the vocals, and just the way that they were kind of playing about with the sounds, right? Stacking and layering those vocals, harmonizing them. You know, 1 minute you'd kind of almost have the vocals sort of like kind of like a normal level, and I don't mean level in terms of volume, I mean in terms of effects, and then all of a sudden, boom, they become big, wide, spacious within the ear. They'd have lots of reverb in them, or they'd be panning left to right. You know, so really, really good job in the execution of the vocals on all three artists. And, you know, again, standout thing for me was the ear candy, right? Really, really good pieces of ear candy there. So on Victony's verse, we had it where the beat cut, and then we had the extended flute. And then on Don Toliver's side, we had it where they added that filter, it stripped everything out of the vocals, and then they slowly brought that back where we got the transition, and boom, we're back into the song. So they've clearly put a lot of time and a lot of thought into both the vocal elements and the ear candy pieces to do their best to ensure that the remix doesn't stink. And to me, I think they've done a really good job. Okay, that's it for me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I will see you in the next one.